This is Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer, and I'm inviting everyone to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the Kickin Lawyer fan page on Facebook for Law Talk Live, where we discuss business, politics, current events, and the law. If you miss the live version, you can watch the playback on YouTube or listen on your favorite podcast platform. All right, it's Jerry Mason, the Kickin Lawyer. We're live for another Law Talk. I apologize for Tuesday. We ended up having to cancel it. A guest didn't show up, and instead of scrambling for something, we decided, since we already were going to do this pre-recorded one with my guest today, we just decided that we would go ahead and do this one live to make up for Tuesday. Plus, Sarah's a really special friend of me and Josh, very talented, and I'm excited to do another interview with her here on her new book. If you don't know already, make sure you like, subscribe, follow all our content. We're on podcast platforms. We're on TikTok, all social media, all that kind of stuff. Do want to remind you the Covington Comic-Con is returning to Covington, Tennessee at the Covington Civic Center on August 20th and 21st. Tickets are now available at Theo and Rose. We hope to have them available for sale at my law firm soon. You can dress up or not and come and enjoy the vendors. There's going to be lots of stuff to see. We got confirmation on stuff and a couple of other new things before Josh goes to the next lower third. We are going to have Friday night, the 19th. Tara Thompson with Theo and Rose is sponsoring Ghostbusters as a special showing, the movie, at the historic Ruffin Theater here in Covington for free. It's free. So you can come the night before the con starts, and there's going to be a Ghostbuster car there provided by the DeSoto County Ghostbusters. It'll be a lot of fun. And then Saturday night, the 20th, I, the Kickin Lawyer, am sponsoring Superman, the real original best Superman, the one with Christopher Reeve. That'll be the 20th, also for free at the Ruffin Theater. So you can come during the day, enjoy the Comic-Con, and then that evening take your family and watch Superman on the big screen for free. And as always, we want to thank our sponsor, Michelle Allen. She's local Cry-Like Realtor. She's your go-to if you're buying, selling, renting real estate. And, of course, if you want to become a Kickin Lawyer yourself, you can go to Mason's High Octane Martial Arts. It's been open since '93, and I've been kicking folks in the face for quite some time. And, of course, The Cellar, Restaurant and Prohibition Bar, is located here in Covington. That's my favorite part, is when we don't do them in time. Did you see that? And my head flies across it. Anyway, The Cellar is located here in Covington, and it's on Square. We got great food, great drinks. You come see us. To live music on Fridays. Tomorrow there'll be some live music. And, of course, Josh will help you out with your digital marketing and helps to accelerate your brand of Masonite marketing. So, with all that said, now joining me today is Miss Sara Freites.
Yes.
Is that close enough? Or,
oh yeah, that was perfect.
I know I've known you, but your name for some reason just doesn't stick in there. I can't.
Nobody can ever get it.
You know, people screw my name, my first name up.
Your first,
because it's Jere, and so they'll. But it's odd because instead of calling, like I get Jere sometimes or Jer.
I just thought it was Jer.
I get Jeremy. They add an MY on it. I don't know why. Yeah. But how you doing?
Good. How you been?
Good. Now, for those that don't know, Sara has been on before. She's an actress, a cosplayer, an author, just multifaceted, very talented individual. That's so weird because on film, you are very confident and charismatic and, you know, just a heroine, and then in person you're meek and quiet and
acting.
I guess
she's just that great of an actress.
Is that what it is? and before we get too deep into it, she has written a couple of books, and that's kind of why we have her on today. This is the second book in her series. This one's Rise of Daybreak, is that right? Yeah, Rise of Daybreak, book 2 in the Rise of Midnight series. Now, I did read the first one. I did not get to read this one, so I'm sorry I haven't yet. But I was just talking to my wife about you and the books, because one thing I'm impressed by is that you actually wrote this much. Like, these are very dense books. So how long did this one take you?
The second one, not like the first one, I think took me 2 years. It came to me so differently than the first one. It was almost instant. I knew what was going to happen, and as I was laying out each chapter, I just knew what was going to happen in every chapter, and it was way different than how the first one came along to me, because that, obviously, I know that took several years, but I don't know what the difference was. It literally was a God thing. It just started flowing at me and coming at me, and I was like, whoa, I need to start writing this down right now.
Well, that's great. So what's your process then on it? Did you... so I've written I've written this book, which I'm going to give you a copy of. I can't remember if I gave you a
Yay,
copy
no, you
of.
didn't.
Yeah. Now this is a kid's book, okay?
That's
So
okay.
the Magic Paintbrush, you can buy it on Amazon. But I wrote it years ago when I was a super broke cop. Like literally, and this is no joke, our house was like up for foreclosure. Like that's how broke I was.
Oh my God.
And at night I had an iPad and I would write in my patrol car. I read to the kids every day, every evening before I went to work. I worked midnight shift. And they love books. Like that was one of our rules, is they didn't have a lot of toys, but they'd have a lot of books, right? So anyway, midnight shift, I was stressed over stuff, and I had my iPad, and I was writing a book to my daughter, to Jade, because this is about my daughter, Jade. And then she and I would kind of read it together, and she'd talk about things in it, and so the story kind of developed with she and I as father-daughter type thing, right? But anyway, this took years for me to get to a format, a size, and everything that I could publish. So, and you can see it's not, it's a kid book, like, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. So for somebody to write an adult book, I've started several and have just not been able to complete them. I'm just very impressed that you, wrote one, much less two, but also, like, I'm interested in the process you went through to write it. So, like, did you post-it note them, or how you keep track of the characters, or like what was the process?
Well, with the second book, it was a little different too. With because I already had the characters, but I'll go into that too. But with the second one, I already knew my characters. I kind of knew where their flow of life was gonna go throughout the second book.
Mm-hmm.
But I got out and I make I call it like my little setup page, and I just make like this little brainstorm thing where I just start typing stream of consciousness, I think that's what they call it, and I would type out my little setup page. It was kind of like almost a synopsis of chapter by chapter what was going to happen. With the first book, it didn't happen like that. I wrote a whole lot of rough drafts. I knew what was going to happen in the end and the beginning, and I had no middle. So I had a lot of kind of trying to figure out what I was going to do. But with the second book, since I knew where I wanted to flow with it, it was literally just, like I said, it was just a God thing. But I didn't start writing immediately. Like I said, I wrote in the little page that I had, and it turned into a couple pages, obviously. But and then I just keep that page, and as I go each chapter, I have my little table to go by. Like, all right, what's happened in this chapter? All right, what characters are in this chapter? Okay, and then I go off that, and I just start. Should just start flying out. I was like, here we go. All right, that chapter's done. I'll come back to it later. I'll do my edits and all that later. I just go ahead and get it on paper. Even if I know when I read it, it's going to be full of typos. It's not going to be exactly how I want it to be in the end. But I think as long as you just get it out, get it out of your head, get it out, whatever you're doing, come back to it, go to the next one, keep going. Don't stop. Don't say, oh, let me go back and just keep. Am I moving too much, Josh? Because I know you said I'm not supposed to move too much.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
But yeah, so it was just I just kept trying to put it down.
Did you have a schedule? Like, that every day you were going to do this amount of writing, or was it just random?
No, I didn't. It was random. I try not to stick to a schedule because I found with my first book I got burnt out a lot, and of course because I was working on it for so long. But I said, look, if I'm not feeling like writing, I'm not going to do it, because I'll start putting stuff in there I don't want, just to fill the time, fill the space. But everybody's different. I know they say you're really supposed to, even if don't take a break, you might not come back. I guess I see it different to where I'm like, I'm going to take a break. I know I'm coming back. I just need a refresher, or I need some inspiration. I don't want to just sit down and start writing stuff, because it won't be good. It won't be. I know some people can do that. I can't. So.
Yeah, I think so I've read about John Grisham and horror guy.
Stephen King.
Stephen King. And Stephen King's process, and both of them, John Grisham, for example, gets up early and writes for X amount of time in the morning, like every morning, religiously.
That's a gift.
That's what he does every morning. He's like, that's my job, that's what I do. He gets up, and then he has the whole day to do whatever else. And Stephen King is similar, but he would kind of go into, go off somewhere, and I know I read Matthew McConaughey's book recently, Green Light. Have you read that?
He wrote a book.
It's very
That's
good.
Awesome.
It's actually more about like life lessons he's learned. And I tell you what, I read the book, but then I also listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook he's reading it.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
It's really good to listen, even though I'm a little jealous because my wife likes him so much. But,
oh my gosh.
But what I was getting at is, so he talked about what he did to write the book, and he literally went into seclusion for like 3 months. He went away with no internet, nothing, to write the book. So it's just curious how different people get it on paper.
That's awesome. That's a gift to be able to do it like
So
this.
and again, I apologize that I didn't get to read this
No,
one,
it's
but
okay.
do people need to read the first one and then this one, or is this one you can pick up and kind of know the characters?
If you pick up the second book, you have no idea where you're starting. You don't know the characters. You're literally dropped into this whole new world. You're like, what is going on? So definitely please read the first book. If you really don't want to read the first book, read the synopsis. I don't know. You're still going to be lost.
And
definitely
I think
read the first book.
they're on Amazon right now, right?
Yes.
And where else?
I'm working on Barnes & Noble right now.
Okay.
So that might be a little bit of a process.
And they search Rise of Midnight or your name, either
Mm-hmm.
one, or Rise of Daybreak, I guess, and
Yep.
it can come up.
You can do Rise of Midnight series. I think they'll pull up if you do it that way. But yeah, if you put in my name, it'll pop up. But
So just in case people didn't watch the first, when you were on about the first book, give them sort of a synopsis of what it is, what the characters are, you know, what they can expect in the book.
Well, it is a YA fantasy paranormal, almost romance, but not really. But definitely paranormal action thriller. I put a little bit of everything in my books as dry as I can for the most part. But it's about a 17-year-old girl named Autumn, and she is kidnapped by a group of individuals, and they tell her that they're vampires, and the reason they've kidnapped her is because she is the reincarnation of like their elder leader from hundreds of years before, and who was a powerful vampire caster. And the reason they brought her in is because they need to use her to help them send a demon back to hell who was her former murderer. And they know that she's got these powers she has to awaken and all this stuff. And so it's kind of about her and the vampires. She's having to come and live with these vampires. And obviously there's a little bit of a love story. I'm not going to ruin that. But and then the second book is a continuation on from the first, everything that goes on in the first book. It literally, you don't miss a beat. I think the second book picks up like 2 months after the first book ends.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really miss anything. But the second book goes more deeper into, there are other forces going against the vampires after this and against the world really. And so it's another kind of adventure with the vampires in Autumn.
Mm-hmm. And so how many do you plan to have in the series, or do you know?
I have a third one in the works, and that will probably be it. Unless it just comes at me again. I don't really see the characters going anywhere after the third book. And the third book is going to be a hot little minute. I think it's going to be how the first one was. I know what I want. I know how I want it to end. I know how I want the beginning, but I got a lot of fillers, and I just need some inspiration. So I'm taking the time to read, watch anime, which is actually how I got inspiration for my first book, was reading and watching anime. So don't laugh. But so I'm trying to do that until it just starts coming to me, because I tried to sit down and start writing, and like I said, when I was sitting there, I'm just like, nope, I can't do it. I don't want it. I'm like, no, I'll put that aside. I'll come back to it when I'm ready.
So I was going to ask you that on inspiration, and I think we covered it a little bit last time, but I don't remember you specifically saying anime. I assume there's vampire anime stuff. I'm not familiar with the anime.
None of it wasn't
Sorry.
vampire, which is
Really?
funny. Yeah.
So how was
Inuyasha,
that then? That it's just
It was characters and storylines that inspired me, that I knew would work with, because I know like there's a lot of that. I don't know, I've had a lot of people tell me my book is not like a regular vampire book, so I don't know how to explain it without spoiling any of it, but I guess I'd say it reads like an anime. It's like I said, it's from the point of view of a 17-year-old girl, and there's a lot of different elements in the book, and there's a whole lot of different characters and different backstories and so on. But it is, and I've had a lot of people ask me too, the prologue of the first book is told from 3 characters' point of view, and I think a lot of people picked it up and they're like, oh, it's one of those books. The whole book is told from Autumn's point of view, as well as the second book. But I do have a prologue in each book where I break into 3 or 4 different characters to kind of set the story. So if you picked it up and you're like, oh no, I'm not reading this book, it's every other paragraph is a different character, I'm not doing it, don't worry, it's not that way through the whole book.
I enjoyed the book, and I mean I thought you wrote it well. Again, the first one, I haven't read the second one, but I'm sure it's just as good. But I think some people, people can write things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is. I think a good book is where you get lost reading the book. That the author has painted a picture of where you are, and you can see, smell, hear, taste what the characters are involved in, and I thought you did a good job with it.
Thank
So
you.
I do think people should take a look at it. Plus, it's important to support local people too. You know,
Amen to
because
that.
you live in Memphis, right?
Outside of Carterville.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Tennessee, and that's another thing I noticed that you've asked occasionally for it, but I wish more people would do that because I can track on Amazon like when I sell something, and I would like reviews. You know,
yeah.
preferably positive. But if
hey.
you are watching and you got one of her books, go on there and leave a review because it helps the algorithm in Amazon push her book to potentially more people.
And even if it's negative, that's fine.
No,
it
don't leave negative
No,
reviews.
you can do that. Well, actually, negative reviews help you too. Any review actually helps your book to stand out. So I just tell people, just
I was gonna say, if you got a negative comment, message me. That's fine.
Oh yeah, it's like,
but I would prefer to not have it into the ether.
Yeah. But I had to tell myself, all right, get ready for your first negative review, and it did. I had a 2-star review like 3 months ago, but they didn't say what they didn't like. So I was like, well, just tell me what you didn't like too. Don't.
Well, you know,
two-star
to some
review
degree, you're not gonna please everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you get to the point to where you have some negative reviews, in a way that's a good thing, assuming they're not all negative, because then you have you got reach at least, because there are going to be people that aren't going to be happy.
Oh yeah,
I've definitely learned that in this restaurant business.
Oh really?
You cannot make everyone happy. The law firm taught me that too, martial arts to some degree, but definitely in a restaurant business. It doesn't matter how great the steak is. Somebody may think it's a little too done, a little too undercooked, a little too this, a little too that. It's okay. Yeah, you can't make everybody happy.
Yeah, that's true.
So talking about vampires, I bring this up because I was just listening to Joe Rogan and they were talking about this one movie. What would be like you think the best vampire movie that you've seen?
Oh my gosh. I really loved Interview with a Vampire for separate reasons than I loved 20 Nights of Night.
28
days
later. I thought
that
that was zombies.
30 Days of Night.
30 Days of Night.
I think it's 30 Days.
It
of
is
Night,
30
yeah.
Days.
Is
of
30
Night.
Days of
That's a
Night the
really
one
good
where they're
one.
in like Alaska?
Yeah.
Okay, I do remember that one.
That one's a whole lot gorier and stuff, which, well, I wouldn't say spoiler, but some of my books do have some gore, but it's not like throughout the entire book. So I think, but yeah, I don't know. I really liked 30 Days of Night, and I really liked Interview with a Vampire. Those are my two top.
Yeah, Interview with a Vampire was good.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I know,
The
I've
one
never
with
seen
Gary
that.
Oldman.
I
I don't know now if it would hold up because it's from like 93 or something.
I watched it recently. It doesn't hold up that well, but it is disturbing.
The
though.
memory of it
Really?
was good.
Oh.
He plays it because he plays it's more of a love story, really.
Really?
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves is in it.
Wait, I have seen this. Is this where the Dracula's all white with
He's
white
old.
hair?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah, he's old, and then by
It is
drinking the blood, he gets
disturbing.
younger. He goes to London. He's trying to get with Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I was
Yeah.
about to say, how have I not seen this vampire movie?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I read the whole book, but I remember starting Dracula.
Oh, it's based on a book. Okay.
Yeah,
That's even better.
yeah.
You know
Well, the Bram Stoker wrote Dracula,
Oh,
which
okay.
was, and he used. I knew the history. I got the book on the history. So
based off the
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
Vlad the
okay.
Impaler was from the Transylvania area, and what he would do, he was a warlord, and when he would kill his enemies, he would impale them on spikes and stuff. And then there was, it grew into a legend that he'd drink their blood and all these different things. And so he used Bram Stoker, and I want to say he wrote that book in 1880s maybe. Look it up, Josh. See when Bram Stoker wrote Dracula.
Oh, wow.
It was it would have been the 1880s or something.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said
old.
19.
No, I
was
said
like,
eight-
I was
1880s.
like, that's way too new.
Yeah, but anyway, I think he used Vlad the Impaler sort of as his example, or his who he modeled Dracula out.
Published in 1897.
Oh, I was close.
That's an old book.
Yeah, but that's the original one. And what I was getting at was, from what I remember from reading the book, Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie, followed the book much more than most interpretations of Dracula
Well,
modern.
that's good.
Have you seen the originals, the Bela Lugosi ones? Have you seen those old?
Probably not.
Well, Bela Lugosi was it 20s, Josh, 2030s?
1920s or 30s.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
He was an old performer that was in all the old monster movies. I think he played Dracula, Frankenstein, maybe a zombie, Invisible Man, all these different ones. But anyway, those don't hold up at all. But
No, they don't.
Aw.
they're
I don't
interesting to
think
watch.
he played Frankenstein. I do think he played.
I thought he
No,
was.
he
Maybe
did.
he was.
He was in the
he might
son
have been
of Frankenstein.
He might have
played-
been
the
Dr.
son of
Frankenstein, though.
He played Igor.
Oh,
Yes,
Igor.
I thought
okay.
he looked familiar. I
Yeah.
think think I've seen that movie.
Yeah, but he did play Dracula, and what other one?
He's the most iconic version of Count Dracula, the one that everybody thinks of with the Widow's Peak, and
Oh yeah. Okay, yes, I recognize him. That's awesome.
Yeah, even then though, Dracula was the women all loved Dracula. Like they had an ability to influence women. He was attractive to them, because that was I guess I don't know if his smell or whatever he puts off, because that was a way to get them to come so he could, I guess, drink their blood or whatever.
Whatever it was he was gonna do.
So you watch those movies, the horror movies and stuff? Or are you more of the anime?
I don't know. Lately, I haven't been as much anime. I was a lot more of an anime big buff back in like college and a little bit of when I was a little younger. But I haven't really watched a whole lot of TV or anything. I don't know what happened. I've kind of moved away.
I'm going to ask you a somewhat controversial question.
What's that?
The reason I say it's controversial is a year or two ago we were at my wife's their Christmas, and her brother's girlfriend, Luke's girlfriend, Mary, loves anime. She's into all that stuff. And my wife's mother made the comment, because my wife's mother knows a lot. She likes, everybody's going to know she knows a lot of stuff. Anyway, she makes the comment that anime is a cartoon. And she's like watching cartoons, because Mary, she's basically my sister-in-law. She's been around as long as I have. Anyway, she's into anime, got a big anime tattoo on her leg, and she was so offended that she called it, and it started an argument over, and I think Madeline's mama didn't realize that Mary was as serious about the anime as she was, and she even brought it up months later, so I never called it a cartoon. I'm just curious, though, what your thinking is, since you're a fan of anime. Is anime a cartoon?
I call it animation because it's not always geared for kids. It's most of the time it's not.
Well, but there are other cartoons, I don't think people would dispute, are cartoons that aren't geared for children.
Yeah, like Castlevania.
Yeah,
which is technically an animation.
That's an anime. I was thinking more like the
Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy, but even
yeah.
more than that, there's what's the one with the spy guy? He's like
American Dad?
Maybe. Nah, there's one where he's like a spy. And it's all adult, like he gets with women.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, the Archer.
Yeah, that one. So, but that's, I would think, a cartoon, right? It's not anime.
I guess, or animation maybe. If people don't like the word cartoon, but I guess people consider cartoon for kids. I guess that might be where she was like, oh my gosh, she thinks I sit around watching kids shows all the time.
Well, I know that you do a lot of cosplay stuff. Have you cosplay anime?
I used to. When I first got into anime and going to anime cons, I was doing a lot more anime. Nowadays, I do a lot more video game and movie, and I still love anime. Like I'm getting ready to watch the second season of One Punch Man. I think they finally dubbed it or something. We couldn't find it, but Dylan was like, hey, I bought that from...
Dylan commented, by the way. He said he was beginning to worry this wasn't going to air.
Oh, sorry. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to get here.
And then John Wood said, first time hearing the audio since the mic change, sounds great. And then at some point he commented that she's magnificently babylicious. I don't know if he was talking about you or your character.
Or maybe he was talking about you. He's probably talking about you.
Probably talking about Jerry.
He's talking about
And then
Jerry.
Cameron McNeil said, what's up and howdy, Sarah.
Hey, Cameron.
With the cosplay, yeah. Because so look, I'm gonna be open with you about something, Sarah. I've always sort of envied people that cosplayed, and you would think you haven't known me that long, but the interaction we've had, you probably would assume I'm a very confident guy. Most people do, to the point borderline arrogant. Like I get it, it's fine. Me and Josh probably share that in common. But I've gone to all these conventions and had never cosplayed, like never gone, and even the Covington Comic-Con, I went in my Kickin lawyer suit, but I didn't cosplay really. So then we've been doing this budget Batman thing.
I've been seeing that.
Have you been seeing that?
I love it. Budget Batman.
Well, good. But man, it's been tons of fun.
Oh yeah.
Playing the budget Batman. Of course, you'll see on the one that Josh is going to do from San Diego. There's a scene where, so basically what I did is I brought it with me in a backpack, right? And it's all funky. It's like sweat stains on it. My shampoo busted in the suitcase, so it had pink stains on it from the shampoo.
Oh
and I was like, I'm just going to wear it anyway. So we go into I don't know what restaurant it was, for me to make the change into budget Batman. And it's packed out. Like, the bathroom's got a line. We wait to go in line.
There's like Dungeons & Dragons paladins waiting to get in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
So I go in there, and I'm in there for like 10 minutes with my son, my oldest son, Alex, who's in the Navy there. Anyway, he's helping me change because then I'm sweating, putting it on.
Gosh.
So I get it on and come out, and it's super awkward because all these people have been standing there waiting to go to the bathroom. And anyway.
You come out in costume.
Yeah, I did. I come out in costume. So as soon as I come out, then I immediately started in character interacting with all these different people. And my thought process on it was, budget Batman is like the cheap version of Batman. Obviously, I'm just making fun of stuff, and he's silly looking, and so I always do this like karate thing. So we come out, and we had walked past a group of protesters. They were sort of religious zealot protesters there. There was like 4 of them, and they were roped off, so I assumed they had bought a permit to be protesting, and we're basically talking funky to all these people, like little kids.
Basically saying they were going to hell for
yeah,
watching
because they're wearing
cartoons
spandex, and they're just... I mean, it's a terrible representation of Christians.
Yeah,
I think.
really.
It immediately made me understand why California mostly leans to the left, because I was like, if I grew up in a state where I saw people like that representing Christians, I would probably, hate most.
They were just over the top.
Yeah, that's awful.
So I was like, well, budget Batman needs to interact with them.
No.
So in the one Josh is going to drop in the next few days, I run up to them, and they're immediately talking smack about me. And I just completely ignore it. I'm doing my budget Batman stuff. And I like do the splits, and people are cheering. They're like, Batman, Batman. Because, I'm just ignoring these.
What made me laugh the hardest was like they were basically calling him like a loser and saying he needs a mentor or a friend. And then after he does that, he comes back over, walks over to me, and I'm like, the thing is, Jerry, they don't even realize that you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, success is relative. But my point is, like, just because they're making judgments. I'm a 43-year-old man, father of 4 wonderful, amazing children, 3 that are grown, that I think are well-adjusted. And if anything, that's my biggest claim, I think, is that I've got great children, right? And I enjoy having fun, and I don't mind making fun of myself. And it's just they immediately cast judgment on these people that are there to just enjoy. And there's tons of like I remember what kind of frustrated me is there was a guy dressed as Harley Quinn, and he had a kid with him that was dressed as some other DC character, I forget. And he's pulling the kid around, and they're just laying into him, and you could tell this guy dressed like that sort of to help. I feel like he was complimenting the kid's outfit. It was more of a. I don't even know that I don't know there's any gender issues. It was just he was trying to help his child, and these people just talking smack to him. So I never said anything to him, but I think it was almost worse that I just completely ignored them and budgeted.
Oh yeah, it was far worse. Yeah, I think it made him way madder by you doing that than if you had like yelled at him. Or
but
something.
you and Dylan need to go. Y'all need to we're gonna try to get tickets to go next year. And so I don't know if there's enough time. Like Josh was saying, the whole group of folks that are interested, it'd be great for a whole group of us to go. The tickets, Josh said, are like $67. But you have to per day.
Per day.
But you got to buy them in advance.
Dang.
Which, to be honest, for what all they had going on, I don't think that's that expensive.
No, it's
because
not at all.
I'm telling you, we didn't even go in the venue, and we just had the whole day around all these things that were set up outside.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then, you were literally outside. You could hear the stuff going on in there with all these celebrities and people on things that we watch. So anyway, we're going to try to go next year and get the tickets and actually go into the venue again.
How bad was the heat?
You can tell on the video how sweaty Budget Batman is.
Actually, better than here because they don't have the humidity.
There's no
out there.
humidity.
Yeah.
But it was hot. It was hot. But what I was going to say, though, I said that whole big tangent, was that I've learned to have great respect for the people that are confident enough to get in costume, and then like some of the kids, how they react. They had a little mini Covington Comic-Con thing at this kids art place over here, and we went to it. It was on the one we released today, and those kids just loved that there's this big dude dressed up in a Batman outfit. It was a huge big deal.
Awesome.
So I know you do Disney princess stuff and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
that's
anyway, I have a lot of respect for the stuff that you do. So which is your favorite cosplay then that you've ever done?
Oh, that's such a hard one. As far as ones I've made, is definitely my movie Princess Jasmine and my Katana MKX. Those are my pride and joys. The ones that I haven't made, of course, Josh knows Lara Croft. That's always been my favorite character.
I was leaning over like this, like you better say Lara Croft.
Definitely Lara. I mean, she was my first cosplay ever, and I love the games. I love her, so definitely those. I don't even want to put one or the other. Those are just my top 3 right there.
How was your experience with Peter Prankster? I saw that, we had him on the thing, and I saw you did some stuff as Jasmine.
Yeah, he had asked me to come over and do some Jasmine stuff. I was not expecting what we did, though, when we got on there, and he, I don't know what he uses, but he gets on there, and he does either his puppets or have a guest, and it flips through people that are on the internet and they're just streaming themselves, and you pop into this chat room, you don't know who you're going to get in this room with, and sometimes it was very awkward and very not good. So
really?
He had to he was like, I'm so sorry. So
I wondered how that worked.
Yeah, so there was some weird stuff, but we got some really good stuff too. It was funny. There was some people that were genuinely, oh.
Yeah, well, I saw some of the ones. I may have seen them all because I follow Peter, and he was here. And I was shocked to find his name's not Peter. But anyway.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, did you not know that?
No,
well, I won't tell you what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did find out that his name was not Peter. But I wondered how that worked because it's Omegle or Omegle or something is the app he uses.
Something like that.
It's like a video chat app.
And sometimes as you're scrolling through, you come across certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I
certain
don't recommend people get on there and use that.
Yeah, unless you're parental guidance, because
man, that sounds like something we should do, Josh.
Yeah.
Maybe Budget Batman.
Oh my God.
And then when they're doing whatever they're doing, I'll just be like.
Oh my God, priceless! It needs to happen.
The problem is somebody would be doing something they might actually like.
They would like Budget
They'll be
Batman.
like, oh man.
Interesting. But that was a good experience otherwise, I guess.
Yeah, it was fun. It was. I don't know if I'd do it again. I'm very nervous, and doing stuff like that put me in the weirdest. I was like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm just weird like that. I'm awkward, and so it was just very different. But it was fun. So I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, you and Dylan, I know it's not super cheap. The getting out there is not so bad. And then I think we need to book hotels in advance. But it'd be great to have a whole group of us go next year.
When is it? Because
we just had it last week. So every year it's
July.
The end of July.
As long as we can afford it, because we're getting married next November.
Oh, well, that's kind of important. Yeah. I meant to ask you. See, I thought y'all were already married. I knew you got engaged, but I didn't know that you hadn't already had the wedding.
No, we're looking at extended. Next November. Yeah, so just so y'all know, you're getting an invitation. I just didn't want y'all to think, oh my gosh. So I've been trying to tell everybody that. I promise. I haven't even bought the invitations yet, so. I couldn't book the venue until this November.
Where'd you pick?
Chimes and Occasions in Midtown.
Okay.
And I went to book her, and she said, I can't book you more than a year out. And I was like, I have to wait till November, so I can't do anything officially until I book the venue. So everything's just kind of, I've got everything lined up. I just can't do anything yet.
I got you. I'm shocked she wouldn't book further than a year
I know.
out.
She kind of made a joke. She was an older lady. She said, girl, I might not be around next year. I was like, don't say that. Oh my goodness. But she was really cute and funny.
I was in the Midtown area today. I have a client that is looking at acquiring a business that's in that area. And so they wouldn't talk to me every time I was calling them. This business, it's an anonymous client. It's a client.
I was going to say, Sarah knows the client.
But anyway, really? So I went down there in person to try to talk to the owners of these, and they've got a couple locations. Anyway, so while we were already down there, my son and I took Austin with me, so it makes me look more professional when I have an assistant, right?
There you go.
But we ate at the Rail Garden.
Oh,
have you been down there?
No,
they've redone that whole area.
It's beautiful.
It's really cool.
There.
It used to be a taekwondo school.
Mm-hmm.
I trained in there years ago.
Really?
It was Midtown ATA.
Now you can go eat and fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't fight, just eat.
Yeah, but that whole area, there was things I didn't know they had built out down there in that area. So is it around there? Were you talking about the venue?
I think so. It's off of Cooper.
Oh yeah,
area.
that's around where we were at.
It's probably right there. There's like a ramen place down there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever had a Kami ramen. No, not Kami ramen. I'm thinking it's a different name. I can't remember. I have to look it up. But
all right. So another question, since we're talking about the wedding, and since I put you on the spot about it.
Oh, it's okay.
So you're a very intelligent, funny, beautiful lady. Okay, I assume you don't mind that I call you a lady, right?
I don't mind.
And you had the world was your oyster, and I know you've been with Dylan for a long time. So, and Dylan's a nice guy. We've had him in here. He's been in Mask in here, right? We need to get him on regular. And I like him from what I've interacted with him, right? But so why Dylan? What makes Dylan the magic guy that locks you down?
he wanted to be my friend before anything else, and I was at a point in my life where I didn't want anything to do with guys. I wanted to be alone and do my own thing, and I was trying to be very independent, and I was doing all this different stuff, and so I wasn't looking for anybody, and he wasn't when I met him, and we just became friends. And then almost a year later, I don't know when he started having feelings, but I started having feelings, and I was like, oh crap, no, don't do it, Sarah, don't. It always goes downhill after this. So it was really scary when we both came and told each other that we had feelings for each other. It was very scary, and I had a lot of adjustment period, and I came with a lot of baggage, and he's been very patient, and he hasn't dumped me yet, so Dylan, you still have time to run. So but yeah, he's put up with me, and he's very patient with me, and we have a lot in common, and for some reason he hasn't run yet, so he's still
I think you get him locked down.
I'm hard-headed, and I can be hard to deal with, and especially with my past and so on, but he's just been Dylan. Thank God he's Dylan, because I'd probably be me and some cats or something. I'm allergic to cats, so me and a whole bunch of dogs.
So Sarah, I might have known that you and Dylan would end up getting married before even y'all did, because there was a moment when we were shooting the first Resident Evil fan film, and I remember I was walking way ahead to like scout the location ahead or whatever, and I looked back, and Dylan had picked you up and was carrying you down the trail, and I remember thinking to myself in that moment, I was like, those two are end up getting married.
Oh my gosh, I was wearing heels, and we were walking on those rock beds, and I think I kept twisting my ankle or something, not twisting it, but I kept complaining. I was like, God, my heels, and he would just turn around and was like, come here, and I was like, I'm so sorry, you don't have to do this. But he was really sweet about it.
It was foreshadowing.
Poor Dylan.
Dylan commented, I don't know if this is a joke, and I don't know if he's asking you or me. Maybe he's asking Josh. He said, how much do you bench?
Who are you asking?
So I guess we could all answer it.
Max for me is probably like, now it's probably like whatever, 45 and a 25 on each side.
It's 185.
So that's, my max is somewhere between that and 200 probably. If I'm maxing out,
Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, strength is relative. I power lifted, so my max bench was 350. That was the most that I benched. But I'm also a big dude.
Yeah,
I'm like well, I'm cutting a little weight now because I'm doing the Rocky show. Did you ever come? You didn't come?
No,
to that?
I want to.
You and Dylan need to come.
I would love
and since
to come
Dylan
to
asked the question, you need to make sure that Dylan sits in an aisle seat.
Oh,
There'll be a reason. There'll be a reason that Dylan needs to sit in the aisle seat.
Okay.
Because I can thank him. But anyway,
Thank you, Malay.
I think y'all would enjoy it. You talk about cosplay. That's a retro. Have you ever seen Rocky Horror Picture
yes,
Show? Okay,
I've seen it.
So the play that we do,
Not y'all's though, but
well, I think you'd enjoy it. It's in this one's steampunk themed.
ooh,
Yeah, we're doing a switch on it. So I did it 3 years ago for the first time. Then I did it the next year, and then I did not do it last year. And I told them I would not do it again. They wanted me to do it because people like coming and laughing at me. So I think I sell tickets because they like to come make fun of me, which is it's fine. I don't care.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a bad way, I don't care. As long as they're paying the ticket,
There you go.
I really don't care while they're there. Anyway, they get to throw stuff at us and everything's great. It's very interactive. You've never been to a play before?
Not like that.
Okay, so you need to be prepared because it's interactive. There are callbacks. Like there's literally a second script for the audience where you can holler things, inappropriate things,
What?
specific parts in the show where you do callbacks to the cast, and we react to that. So we want an audience that's interactive with us. And then there's parts where like it's supposed to be raining and you pull a newspaper out. There's parts where at the end I forget the line, but it's about being rolled or toilet paper or something.
throw toilet paper.
And we throw toilet paper and you get toilet paper all the whole place.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's a very very interesting show. So we're doing it in October for 2 weekends, and it's actually worth. People drive up from Memphis and stuff to see it. It's a very
it's only
unique
for 2
show.
weekends.
Mhm.
Oh wow, it's very.
But if y'all get a chance, you should come. But we're all dressed
yeah,
up. I
that's
mean,
awesome.
people cosplay
really?
as
In
the
the-
Rocky characters. They even come
Aw.
to the show and dress up as the
That's
characters.
awesome. Yeah, we definitely.
It's so funny because the first year we did it, my kids were kind of. I don't know that anything I do really embarrasses me anymore. But Jude, my youngest child, who was 15 at the time, 14 or 15, he was hesitant to come, and I was kind of hesitant to have him see it because of the nature of it. But he comes, right? He ended up coming to every performance and finally started dressing up. So he goes.
Oh, that's awesome.
2 years ago he did it, and he dressed up as Rocky. which is just wearing the
Yay!
gold trunks, and he got second in the costume contest they did.
Oh, that's awesome! Oh my god!
Yeah,
Talk about yourself.
But you and Dylan could come and cosplay whatever, and because the people on the Halloween one we do it I think it's one is the weekend of Halloween or maybe the weekend before, I forget. But we have a costume contest in intermission, so everybody gets up there cosplay and does it.
Oh, that's awesome! I love Halloween, so that's like my favorite time.
Yeah, Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Yes.
Or you didn't tell us what you benched though.
Oh, sushi rolls. That's all I bench.
That's what you
I don't
bench.
bench anything. I like sushi. I will bench sushi rolls, picking it up and just eating it. Yeah.
Our brother Justin said Bible bangers are the most judgmental people on the planet. Well, that's nice. Very good. Well,
we like to keep him in the basement.
Justin's actually a sweetheart. He's very.
He is.
You've met Justin?
I don't think you have.
I'm bad
sir.
with
She wasn't on
names.
any of the
I'm better with
shows
faces.
or movies you did with her.
Not with I don't. I'm pretty sure you haven't met him, Sarah. I don't think
Okay.
you have.
If I'd have to see a face, I'm bad with names.
Remind everybody where to go to watch the
movies
that she's done with you.
Oh, so
yeah.
Mason Studios channel on YouTube, and you can watch Sarah in our most successful film of all time, which is the first Tomb Raider movie, Croft: Legend of the Tomb Raider, and then we did do a sequel, Tomb Raider: Power of Atlantis. And she was also Faye Valentine in the 2 Space Cowboy fan
I almost
films.
forgot about those.
You were Ada Wong in the Resident Evil fan films. And I think that's it. I think that's most all of them. So yeah. So anyway, check it out, Mason Studios on YouTube. And that's all. The only reason people watch those movies is because of Sarah.
That
Again,
is not true.
It's a large reason why I watch those movies. Speaking of Resident Evil, have you watched the new series?
No, and I want to, but I keep hearing disappointment, so I don't know.
Well, I'm on
scared.
I think it's like 6 episodes. I think I'm on 5.
What do you think?
I'm okay with it, but I'm not the big. I didn't nerd out over Resident Evil.
Did you play the games?
Not really.
Oh,
No.
I
I
need to
mean, I'm
find-
semi-familiar with it. I watched the other movies, the older ones, and I knew because what did the one with the series and it had what was the girl's name that played
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, so I watched some of those.
Yeah, those movies are nothing like the video
Yeah.
games.
No, not at all, which was kind of sad, but I still like them for what they are by themselves. So.
Yeah, well, this standalone for me is okay. It's worth watching.
It's a good because I'll enjoy a good standalone, but I'm ready for a real official like Resident Evil video game.
Like it's like the games.
Yeah, I want a Josh Mason Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm serious.
Look, I was just
I'm so ready for that.
Well, I was disappointed that newest movie they made, the Welcome to Raccoon City or whatever, because the
Yeah.
guy they had playing Leon Kennedy, I mean, first of all, he looked nothing like the character, and I was like, we had Dylan playing Leon in our movie, and he looked like he had stepped out of the video game. He was so accurate, you know.
Wig and clothes.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
even did the voice and everything.
Yeah, it
so-
looked just like the character, and I'm
like,
like, how is it our
come on.
cheap little nothing fan film that I spent $5 to make got it more right than the big Hollywood studios do? You know, I don't get it.
Was Justin not a zombie in one of those?
I don't think so. No.
Maybe I'm getting them confused.
last
Justin
movies-
has been in a bunch of the ones he did.
The
too.
early movies, like the high
Justin,
school ones.
our brother
he was in.
Justin
Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
I can't believe I haven't met him.
If he'll just open up, he's funnier than either of us ever. I mean, he just comes up with crazy stuff. The problem is, it's like I found with a lot of people, he's just not used to being like in here. We've had him in here a few times, and he does fine.
Aw.
But they kind of clam up a little bit when they're in front of folks instead of just being themselves.
Yeah, I
and what
get
made it attractive was being themselves.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Justin could honestly be the most famous person on the planet if he would just lean into his humor and comedic relief and everything. He'd be like literally the funniest person ever.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
in
awesome.
the. You saw the Kickin Lawyer commercials. The couple we did a couple from a couple years ago. He's in the one.
The
He's the
shady
insurance
guy.
guy,
Yeah.
and then in the second one, he was the cop. That's our middle
I
brother
need to watch
Justin.
him again. I cannot believe I haven't met him yet. Okay, well, we need to meet Justin.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're
We'll
gonna do.
we'll have
figure
him
it
in the
out.
next Tomb Raider movie.
Yes,
Sarah. There you go.
I'm ready. Get ready, Justin.
Dylan said, "I'm too big for that Leon jacket now." He didn't got swole. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
he done got
Yeah.
jacked. Yeah.
he's been working out and what do you call it, lifting and stuff, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Dylan.
That's good. I mean, everybody I think should do some type of resistance training. I mean, I feel I accept the fact now that I'm getting older, but like I'm still. I did squats yesterday in between. Josh ran there, and then we came. Well, we had to come back. It was Comic-Con meeting we
Comic-Con
had,
meeting, yeah.
and I ran and did squats, and I still do really heavy squats. I think that it helps with aging and stuff, and then I still do martial arts, and I still do all these things. And I tried and just as an example. Because I work out so much, when we were in San Diego, I tried to surf. Now, I was not very good at it,
Oh.
but I didn't get injured or anything because I'm flexible and I'm strong enough. And so, I mean, I'm just still, even though I'm an older guy now, I think the constant physical activity has really given me a better standard of living than a lot of people my age.
Weren't you scared of sharks? I am terrified of sharks.
Yeah, so I asked the guy that I swam out with that was teaching me, who surfs all over the place. As soon as we got out there, we were wet. He had to teach me. There's so many things I didn't know before I tried it. Right? Like, have you ever surfed before?
I wakeboarded. That doesn't count, but there's a board involved.
Well, so I don't know if the wakeboarding is the same.
It's definitely not.
But surfing, you have to read the wave. So you have to like know where it's going to crest at and catch it at just the right point to ride the wave. And then the wave will catch you and sort of pull you. And you have like 3 or 4 seconds to try to jump up on the board. And then you have to, balance
I'm
the
not
surf.
coordinated enough for that.
But he said that, yeah, there are sharks.
Oh, God.
And that sometimes he would get off. Because another thing I didn't know is when you fall off the board, the wave sucks you in. And so for a few seconds, like you think you're going to drown. Like I really did. And then the first time it happened, my legs got caught in the cable of the surfboard that was hooking me to the surfboard. And so I was like, oh no. And I just tried to relax and not panic. And I finally bobbed to the top. But then the other problem is then the next one takes you. But what he told me is sometimes he'll get caught in the wave and you'll see a shark in the wave.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he said most of them don't bother you and they're small and they're not going to mess with you around there. But yes, there were supposed to be sharks around the area we were in.
You're brave.
I don't know if I'm brave or stupid, but I just had never done it before, so I was like, sure, we'll try to do it. We got Josh to do some stuff he's never done before.
No way. What?
Well, like he went to Venice Beach and got to see crackheads.
Okay.
Up close.
That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
so Gollum from Lord of the Rings came walking up twitching
What?
and started digging through one of the trash cans while its head was twitching, and I was like, oh hey Gollum, and it was like crack. And so that was
terrifying.
that was interesting.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
And what I found, this is what I found most interesting, Sarah, in California, right? Is so on Venice Beach, you could buy mushrooms. They had candy bars that had mushrooms in them, weed, right there, all legal. It's all legal. You can buy it. They just set up, selling it, cops around, no big deal, right? I do this surfing thing, and I lose a contact. Okay, and this is a trip I forgot to bring extra contacts. Well, I'm kind of blind without them. So I had my glasses, and so the next day we were going to go to L.A., and I told the boys, I was like, well, we'll just stop by some, lens crafter place. I'll go in. My wife sent me a picture of the box, and they'll give me another contact. I'll buy the box, whatever I got to do to get it. I just need one contact,
Yeah,
right?
just one.
And so this is a state where literally the day before you could buy mushrooms for recreational use legally. So anyway, I go in this place. It's I forget what the name of the place was. It's like Glasses World or something. And I'm like, I explain everything, and he's like, I'm sorry, sir. Contacts are heavily regulated. We can't just give you a contact. You're going to have to set an appointment and come in. And I was like, but look, I got a picture of the prescription. I just need a contact. And he was like, no, sir, there's a huge liability for us. And I was like, yesterday they were selling mushrooms on the beach, and I can't get one contact.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
And they wouldn't sell. And I tried all of my Kickin lawyer Jerry Mason charisma.
So if you go to California and you need some crack, meth,
You're
heroin,
good.
you're good.
You're good.
It's plenty supply. Just don't need a contact in
Bring
California.
all your
Yeah,
supply contacts.
we're on Venice Beach where they're selling all this stuff, and there's literally dudes smoking crack, just hanging out, smoking crack. The girl he's talking about was straight up cracked out. Like she's barefoot digging through the garbage
Just
to find
looking for her precious.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
crack
we're
or
like
whatever.
bath salts.
It was it was like that. Like she was zombie looking. It was pretty
God.
rough. But that was an experience. And then we
That's
walked
terrifying.
from Venice Beach to the Santa Monica Pier, which was like 2.5 miles. It was beautiful, and it wasn't that bad. It was a nice little jaunt, but so many different things you see. It's so different than here because you were walking through that community, and there was a skateboard park where Tony Hawk had learned to skateboard, or one of the places he'd skateboarded. There was a roller skating. They were like roller skate dancing, like on roller skates and rollerblades. Then there was just a regular hip hop dancing area. Then they had like a kids basketball league playing, and these two guys were on a PA making fun of them. They're like talking smack the whole time to the kids. Then there's the Muscle Beach part where there's the bodybuilders, you work out, and they got the pull up bars and all this different stuff.
And you got Santa Monica Pier that's basically like a fairground right there on the ocean. I mean,
Yeah, it's got a big Ferris wheel and rides, and anyway, it's it's definitely a unique experience.
That's
And then
awesome.
Josh got his. He said the most memorable thing was the old dude. Remember him?
Oh yeah, so there's an old dude, real old leathery guy, like rollerblading in slow motion down the sidewalk, and Jerry got up behind him and was mocking him. Like,
Well, I was
mimicking
just
him.
I was trying to vibe with him. I was trying to vibe with him.
He was totally chill.
Man,
dude.
he had some skill. His skin looked like leather because he just apparently is in the sun all the time. He's on rollerblades and he was doing this real slow motion single leg just glide.
He
man.
was enjoying it.
Yeah, and then he would switch legs.
Oh.
It was
So
the
I like-
most California thing I think I saw.
got up
That
behind him.
sounds
and
very California.
He would be like slow motion. It was very impressive the
That's
balance it had to
awesome.
have. But and then the other point I was going to say on California is this is a point I liked. It's very fitness oriented. So like everywhere there's an area to walk or ride a bike. They encourage that kind of stuff. There's workout equipment out places, and then most of the places that you eat are real health conscious. There's always lots of healthy options. Versus in Memphis, everything's fried. They're like, here's a fried turd.
Here's a
You know,
fried
like-
turd. Fried
So-
Oreo. Here you
Yeah.
go. That's
Have you
healthy.
been to California?
I used to live in Vallejo when I was very,
Oh,
very
really?
young.
Where's that in relation?
Oh my God, I don't know. I was 2 years old when I
Oh,
lived
so you
there.
don't
My
remember
dad
it.
was stationed out there somewhere, and we moved after my brother was born. So I think we were there only 2 years. But
What branch was he in?
he was in the Marines, the military.
Okay, I'm not familiar with where their base is. This was my son's in the Navy, so we spent most of our time in San Diego in the Coronado Island there.
We actually got to see where a lot of the scenes from the new Top Gun were filmed. So that was
Oh,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and then we were on the beach where the Navy SEALs train and all the SEAL
Ooh,
stuff.
that's awesome.
Is really neat. That's why I wear these pants all the time. These skinny pants.
Skinny pants.
Yeah, the tight pants because they're Navy SEAL pants. What are you gonna say to the Navy SEALs?
I just remember there was this road that we would go down, and it would back and forth all the way down this hill. And I don't remember. It's supposed to be a famous road in California. I don't know what it was called.
See, I don't know exactly where that area is. All I knew was that we were 2 hours from LA, and then I knew that if you went south from San Diego, you would be in Tijuana.
Oh wow.
You were in Mexico, which we may try to go next time and get some fake Rolexes or something.
Nobody would ever know.
That way, then everybody can think they're real and accuse you of having a very expensive.
Oh yeah, I got
watch.
There
I've
you
got this
go.
massive watch
Yeah.
collection. It's so valuable.
Ah.
Well, I've taken enough of your time, Sarah.
Oh, hush.
Tell
Okay.
me,
Y'all are so
so
far
tell
away,
everybody one more time where they can get your book.
Oh, okay. You can get. This is my second book. I didn't bring my first book with me. Didn't think about it. But Rise of Midnight and Rise of Daybreak on Amazon right now. I'm working on. It's ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Audiobook will release at the end of the year for both books. I'm working on getting them both in Barnes and Noble. But for now, Amazon or the link in my bio on Instagram, Facebook.
And give them what your Instagram is because it's unique.
Oh, it's Sapphire Art. It's my initials, SAF, and then IRE_art. Sapphire. Yes, I can spell. It's just my initials. It's just my initials. I thought I was trying to make something cool, but
Well, thanks for spending the time with us.
Thank you for
And
having
we're gonna
me.
miss you at the Covington Comic Con this year, but
I
you
know,
know,
I'm sad.
and good luck with all the wedding and planning and everything.
Oh gosh, it's wish me
My
luck.
my middle son Austin just got married, and we went through some of the process of helping with the planning, and it's a lot to it.
Yes, yeah, it's gonna be. A
Well,
doozy.
ultimately, it's really about you and him.
That is very true.
And you know, y'all are going to worry about what other people think, or you know, that they enjoy. No, it doesn't matter. It matters about you two.
Very
So
much
just
so.
focus. As long as you focus on that, then you know, maybe it won't be quite as stressful.
Phew, that is true.
Well, thank you guys for watching today. I want to thank Sarah again for joining us.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to our content. We're across social media platforms. You can check it out on podcast platforms. There's also playbacks on YouTube. And just like I said, give her reviews. Make sure you follow our stuff and like it and comment. It helps the algorithm. And, you know, we don't make money doing this. We do this for your love. And then, of course, we're on TikTok. We're going to get Josh dancing on those real soon.
Yes, I'm ready.
And then the Covington Comic Con returns to Covington August 20th and 21st at the Covington Civic Center. Tickets are available now at Theo and Rose, and soon will be available at the law firm here.
That panda kills
And
me.
you got to watch Creepy Panda. Don't forget the new Budget Batman episodes are up if you go and follow that Facebook page. And then Michelle Allen, who is the sponsor of our longtime sponsor of our show, and why we have these nice fancy new microphones. She's your go-to Cry-Like realtor in the area. If you're buying, selling, renting real estate, Michelle is glad to help you. She's very knowledgeable. And of course, Mason's High Octane Martial Arts is my martial arts school located here in Covington. As soon as we're leaving here, I'm going to teach class. And you can come and kick like that eventually if you
Kick like
do it.
that.
And then the Cellar Restaurant Prohibition Bar is located also in Covington. And we have a full menu and full bar menu, kind of good dining, fancy. We've got a porterhouse steaks, 18-ounce porterhouse steaks available now, as well as tomahawk steaks. So if you're interested in that, come see us. And don't forget, Josh will help you with your digital marketing presence with Masonite Digital Marketing. He will accelerate your brand. Thank you for paying attention to us today. I know it's Thursday. It's not a Tuesday. We are planning to be live again Tuesday, I think, with Greg Phillips.
Yes.
If he comes. I guess we'll see. We might have to have a backup guest just in case. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. So hope you have a good week. Keep kicking. Thanks for watching, guys. Just remember that this is not legal advice or investment advice or business advice. This is for fun and entertainment purposes only.